Welcome back to TYT Sports. Ben and Jason here. Ben, you were not a part of the clip on the NBA hometown rosters, but we saw some great success from.
One of my great regrets in life.
I'm sure it was. What your hometown roster would have been the Washington Bullets, if I'm correct, right? Mm-hmm. That would have made the team infinitely worse. But we wanted to do an NFL edition of the hometown rosters, and we found some from besttickets.com, which circulated through some blog networks and originally found it on the Chive, and it leads you back there. So for context first, so everyone is fully aware of how these rosters were made, we have a quote from besttickets.com, the guy who made these hometown roster graphics. Let's have a look at that first quote. In the study, I combined the 49ers and the Raiders, the Giants and Jets and the Redskins and Ravens. I also plugged in players who were born outside of a team's target area if that team didn't have any local guys at a certain position. These replacement players, identified with a blue dot, were pulled from places as close to the team's target area as possible. An example you're going to see.
Hang on. Let me take on, and what's that guy's name? Andrew
Powell something.
What's his name? Put up the clip again one more time, just for 1 sec. Let me tell you what my problem is with Andrew Powell Morse, and it's a big problem, a very big problem. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Maryland might as well be Phoenix and Detroit. They are two different cities. You might as well include Baltimore and D.C., Baltimore and Philly together. It makes no sense. They're two different cities. And I speak for this from a powerful place of the emotion of a young man, of a young boy. When I was growing up in D.C. and people tried to get me to like the freaking Baltimore Orioles, it's a different city. It's a different city. It's a totally different place. They're not the same. The Ravens, you can combine New York and New York because they're both New York. And you can combine San Francisco and Oakland, I suppose, because the Bay Area is considered one big area. Nobody says, I live in the Baltimore-Washington area. You know who says that? Assholes. All right.
Did you ever stop to think for just a second that maybe there weren't enough players to make a hometown roster?
Then fine. Then you can't make a hometown roster, and that place doesn't get included.
Every team needs a hometown roster. We're just going to leave out the pigskins.
No, I'm sure you can come up with it. That's enough. They don't have whole rosters here, right? They don't have all 22 starters.
They have a few.
I got it. You can't combine them just because it's convenient to you. You can't combine. Two different cities. Continue.
Thank you, Ben. So, more context, because when we did this for the NBA hometown rosters, and even though we introed with context so people understood how these were made, we still get the same ridiculous amount of comments saying Melo is from New York and I wasn't born in your favorite city of Baltimore. So, I'm quoting myself.
I don't hate Baltimore, it's just a different place.
It's just a different place. So we were unable to find an updated 2015 list of NFL hometown rosters. We are referencing besttickets.com graphics and list from the 2014 NFL season. We are fully aware that some of these players are retired and that some of the breakout rookies are not included. So for fuck's sake, do not tell me that Stephen Curry was born in Akron, fucking Ohio, because I know that because of the commenters. I'm quoting myself. Because there is 150 comments in that clip. And I know you don't read the comments, so you would never know this.
Because I'm a rational person.
Steph Curry was born in Akron. I know you're a rational person, but sometimes our commenters are very, some love you. Some also don't like you. Some are in between. So we move forward with how we broke these down. Now here's where it gets subjective. We chose here, me and Dan Keston over there, Dan Keston and I, our executive producer, Tier 1, the 6 best, 6 best, even though the Ravens and Redskins can't be combined, according to Ben Mankiewicz over here, we chose the 6 best.
Indisputably true.
Indisputably true. Whatever you say. Nobody cares. So we chose those 6. We're going to discuss them with you, and then we will show you at the end the rest of them. So starting off with the Miami Dolphins, Geno Smith, which is...
Tier 1?
Whoa.
What is wrong with you people?
Look at the defense! You're going to tell me that Jason Pierre-Paul, Vince Wilfork, Brandon Flowers, Jonathan Vilma, Ancho Roll, and people can read this themselves, and Patrick Peterson is not a shutdown defense.
Geno Smith.
Frank Gore
is the quarter. First of all, does it matter ever?
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I got
with a great defense.
With the best defense of all time. That's not the best defense of all time.
I'd argue the Lawrence Taylor Giants defense is up there, but go on.
Okay, those were the 2 best defenses of the modern era. Agreed. But that isn't it. That's not it.
Can't even have fun with it. We move forward to the next team.
I mean, you made Tier 1.
Hold on.
You made Tier 1 Geno Smith. And hold on.
No. I am not done. The 2 rookies that need to be added to this team from Fort Pierce, Florida, Khalil Mack, and from Belle Glade, Florida, Kelvin Benjamin.
So you're finally putting some pressure on the passer with Mac. Look, man, you were going to leave out. I'm just going to do a little hint of what you're going to leave. No, I'm going to mention it now.
Don't spoil it.
I'm going to spoil it because it's relevant now that you've put on in Tier 1 a team with Geno Smith as a quarterback, and left off of Tier 1 is Cincinnati, Ohio, with Russell Wilson and Le'Veon Bell. No, great job. Good work. Go ahead.
My Dolphins defense would shut down your Bengals.
And Luke Kuechly.
It's a good one. We move forward to, I believe, the Texans of Houston.
You opened with Geno Smith. What is wrong with you?
Oh, God. Unbelievable. But now Ben's going to try to argue that Drew Brees, Jamal Charles, Des Bryant, Josh Gordon. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Not Josh Gordon. Mike Evans from Galveston, Texas, closest city. Houston would sub in for Josh Gordon as one of the best rookies of last year. And including to that with a decent defense. Nothing to stand out. But it's tough to argue that.
Ryan Arakpo plays for Houston.
Fact. That's a fact.
So, yeah, okay, that's better. Because you got to have a quarterback, man. You can't
Well, this isn't 1 through 6. This is just Tier 1.
I got it.
Tier
This team,
1.
this Houston works because Houston, Texas football mecca, not surprising.
And also your favorite, a lot of your favorite cities coming out today. Baltimore, Houston.
Well, Houston's the worst city in America. Everybody knows that. But that's not debatable either. I like Baltimore, but it took the Nationals coming to Washington to make me appreciate Baltimore. Now, I root for the Orioles. Now, I love Baltimore. As a boy, I didn't want to be required to root for them because they were from another place. Okay.
We'll always argue, most beautiful ballpark in the country, Camden Yards. We move forward to the New Orleans Saints. Not a bad team either when, Peyton Manning, but no, he's not that good, right, Ben? Eddie Lacy, Julio Jones, Mike Wallace. I do love the name Captain Munnerly.
Oh, Captain Munnerly is such a great name.
It's a power name. Alden Smith, who just signed with the Oakland Raiders today.
Oh, did he really?
Yes, he got picked up by the Raiders for a 1-year deal. Nnamdi Asomugha. And of course, down there, I do want to highlight, granted, Andrew Whitworth, Corey Hilliard, I don't know enough to discuss on them. But some of they didn't put a picture of it, but for those offensive and defensive linemen, those are standout players that do get mentioned down there for some of these teams. And in addition to New Orleans, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Odell Beckham Jr.
I like but it's so funny. You just see the blue dot, you're like, not within the target area.
Right.
So why don't you just put Rob Gronkowski on the team? He's not within the target area either.
Rob Gronkowski is not from the closest to that area.
I got you.
I just want to make sure you understand before we go on another really angry and vindictive Baltimore versus Washington.
This thing doesn't really work. That's all I'm saying. Continue.
Oh, such a hater, so damn critical. We move forward to your favorite, Washington, Baltimore. Ben, why don't you read these off for us?
Let's include Richmond. There's probably some good players down there in Richmond.
Right,
let's include Richmond. Let's keep going. Let's include Richmond. Let's include Raleigh. Let's include Raleigh-Durham also, because there's some North Carolina players there. That's kind of a. Let's just include Atlanta all the way down. That used to be Washington territory, so all the way down to Atlanta.
How far apart is Washington, Baltimore, mileage-wise? You know?
About 50 miles.
Oh gosh, so far. We might as well include Nevada or Las Vegas, Nevada, and Washington.
But Baltimore to Philly is like 70 miles. Why not just do that?
Well, they grabbed from the Eagles team. They grabbed a lot of Brick Township, New Jersey players, which are from about 30 miles.
Why can't we include Baltimore? Let's do that.
Ben, you can include whatever the hell you want, but we're using this. We're using Powell Morse's.
I refuse to do this because this is not.
You're going to continue to do this.
I'm not reading those names.
This
is a nonsense team. Obviously, if that existed, that would be nice because you'd have Andrew Luck and LaShawn McCoy, and you'd have massively underachieving Percy Harvin, although you get the impression that 1 year Percy Harvin will just put it together and be a dynamic top 10 offensive player.
Ben, we're going to get you hooked on phonics so you can sound out the first quarterback's name. Andrew Luck, decent player.
Yeah, sure.
And LaShawn McCoy.
Great corners there. Great DBs, great defensive backfield there with Chancellor holding out.
Darnell Dockett on the line as well.
And Hayden and Vontae Davis. But that team doesn't exist, so never mind.
It doesn't exist. We move forward with Angry Ben, Niners, Raiders, which I guess you can't do that either. Because
no, you can. That's different.
There's a bridge that separates them, though. And the bridge is like a mile long.
Don't be deliberately obtuse. That's the Bay Area. That's a thing. That's an acknowledged area. Baltimore and Washington are not the same area.
I'm aware of that, but for the fun of the clip, Mankiewicz.
There are news. Here's the deal. In Baltimore, they have their own local news. They don't watch Washington's local news. In Oakland, they watch San Francisco, and in San Francisco, they watch the station that's in Oakland. That's a shared area. It is not the case.
Will you read that team then?
Sure, I'd be happy to read the Bay Area team.
Can we go back to the Bay Area team, please?
I'll decide whether this warrants being in Tier 1. It does, merely because of Aaron Rodgers and Marshawn Lynch.
Julius Thomas went healthy. Julian Edelman.
Oh, look.
Fake girlfriend.
Dante Teo. Yeah, Teo.
Surprising.
Who else do we have? We have, some serious offensive linemen, Lode, Holt, and Mankins.
Yeah. Lamar Houston on the defensive line.
But this team does not, aside for the fact that it's Rodgers, this team does not compare to me to the Houston team. I think was better all the way around. And I would say the team we just did last was better too, but I refuse to acknowledge that team doesn't exist.
So
here's another team. All right, so here's one more you've just got up there, the Chargers now.
Yes.
This team is also not as good as the Bengals, but it's as the Cincinnati team. It's okay, but it has Tony Romo and an aging Reggie Bush as your offensive weapons in the backfield. Lance Briggs retired.
I look at that. That might be also up there with one of the best defenses with Chris Long and Halati Nada on the defensive line, in addition to Lance Briggs, Clay Matthews, Richard Sherman.
Yeah, it's good.
You put no emphasis on defense, even though I know you believe defense wins championships.
I do, and that's a solid defense. But I'm just saying that I don't know that it's substantially better. Or that I would say that team is at best as good as the Cincinnati team. Let's take a look at the Cincinnati team.
We have to go to Cincinnati team. Ben, your Bengals.
Yeah, so, look, Russell Wilson and Le'Veon Bell, that's the best quarterback running back combination we've seen. So that instantly makes them Tier 1. I get it. Taylor Price, I'm not honestly familiar with his work. Who's Taylor Price play for? Is he in the National Football League? Okay, so I probably do know who Taylor Price is, and I can't quite place him. Lance Moore, obviously, it's a journeyman there. I got that. I hear you. That said, we have some talent there on defense. We have Kuechly, arguably the best linebacker in the league, and we have a safety in C.J. Spillman. It's not bad. It just deserves Tier 1 for Wilson and Le'Veon Bell and Kuechly.
I have no words because I just don't believe they are Tier 1. I don't. I think that their defense is in question, and almost every other team's defense is better. In addition to that, you've put so much emphasis on Russell Wilson, Le'Veon Bell, which I understand the quarterback-running back duo in the NFL is very important.
Is Le'Veon Bell suspended for 2 games in this made-up league?
Yes, Le'Veon Bell is suspended for 2 games. He can come back week 3.
I didn't know that.
So we're gonna before we outro with all the other hometown rosters for you guys to see, guys and girls to see. We're not just a singular sex audience, I believe. Make sure to leave all your comments in the comment section below. Do you believe that the Bengals should
guys and girls? We're not just a singular sex audience.
Oh, make fucking fun of me. Comment section below with your favorite NFL hometown team roster, and also why Ben is so grumpy today. We don't know. He doesn't like this clip.